Boom. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you want to build trust, get found, make sales? Well, then you're going to want to pay attention to today's episode where we're going to break down the formula on how that works. Let's get this one started. Here we go.
Shut up and sit down.
Look, a business can give you everything you want in life. Prestige, wealth, freedom. It can also take everything away from you. This show is for those who are willing to take that risk. These are the real life stories of entrepreneurs. But before we start, I have one small favor to ask. Please leave a comment. It can be advice, critiques, tips, feedback, or share this with someone because your engagement is the most valuable and most powerful form of social currency. So thank you, and welcome to another episode of Business Bros.
Alrighty, business bros. He helps entrepreneurs to turn clicks into clients by building powerful sales funnels and dominating with local SEO. He's the secret weapon behind countless business owners who've leveled up their brands and positioned themselves as the go-to expert. Please welcome to the show, the one and only Mr. Sean Garner. And
Man,
now the party can begin.
What an intro, you know? I'm just like, I'm hearing all this. I'm seeing the B-roll clips and everything. I'm like, man, I hope he wonders who he's got on here today. No, it's an honor to be here. Excited for the opportunity and hoping we're sharing some value and help out your audience today.
Dude, it's all about the energy, man. If I can pump up my guests that are on the show, they're going to come and be excited and bring some of the best quality version of themselves they possibly can. That's the whole idea behind it. And you know what? You're in the marketing space. So energy and transference of energy is probably one of the most difficult things that you try to get your brand to do, but you're doing it as you like literally you just popped on here and that energy bursted through. Give me a little bit of background. What's your background? How'd you get to marketing and helping clients build their brand?
Well, yeah. So the origin story, right? Like this is my superhero origin story. So the quick not so quick version of it is my wife and I, we've been business owners and entrepreneurs for about 15 years now. I started out in the fitness space where we owned and bought and sold gyms. We're sort of the health wellness space. And that's kind of where I got my first exposure to, entrepreneurialism, owning a business, and how that kind of has evolved into marketing and owning a marketing agency. So honestly, man, I just got burned by a lot of marketing agencies. I was understanding as I was learning it and they were doing some of the things for me. I would question them and they would always kind of push back. Oh, well, you're just a business owner. You don't need to know this. We're the marketing experts. And I kind of started getting frustrated because I realized that they were just doing what was best for them and not necessarily what was best for my business. So long story short, we ended up selling those gyms off, moving to Miami, Florida, where I ran a lot of gyms. And that's where I started learning the digital marketing space even more because we had sold our brick and mortar facilities that we own. And that's where I started doing like the online fitness stuff. And so, I had my own online fitness brand and products with that. And I was a writer and fitness advisor for Men's Health Magazine. So I was getting a lot of exposure with like creating content, websites, sales funnels, and all of these things. And that led a lot of my friends and colleagues who were in the fitness industry to ask how are you getting these brand deals and how are you selling these products and stuff like that online? I was like, well, I was trying to explain them like what a website is and sales funnels and content strategies. And they didn't care about that stuff because they were just passionate about their craft and what it was. And so I was like, well, how about you just pay me and I just do it all for you? And so that kind of really just evolved and spun the agency to where then in 2020, my wife was like, hey, I'm thinking about starting my own medical practice. You've been doing this marketing for all these fitness industries. You think it'd work for my medical practice? I was like, well, yeah, it's the same stuff. We'll just tweak the industry. And then her practice blew up and was super successful. And then my attorney came to me and he's like, hey, you did it for your wife's medical practice. You're doing it for these gyms and trainers. Would it work for my law firm? I was like, yeah, it's the same stuff. You just got to have a really good system to plug it into. Did it for him. His business was very successful. And so over the years, it has evolved to where it was just me, kind of like this fitness business coach trying to help my friends. We're a full service digital marketing agency where we specialize in helping local service-based businesses grow their business and dominate online. We do that with story brand messaging, websites, sales funnels, search engine optimization. So that way it's not just about having the thing, but making sure you're attracting the right people to find those that you're called to serve.
Those technicians, the ones that have that skill set, they're good at what they do. The reason they usually end up becoming self-employed is because they don't want to work for anybody else. They want to do it their way, their style, their name on the board, their name on the billboard, I should say. And oftentimes a lot of them get stuck there though. They end up struggling to really scale their business, to really grow, because they're so focused on doing the work that they don't really quite understand what it means to grow a business. They're looking for their next customer. And when they say that, they're really saying, I'm looking for my next referral, rather than really having an engine that is spitting out lead after lead that can grow while they're sleeping. Maybe, something that is generating leads while they sleep, something that's maybe putting customers on or potential customers on their calendars. And then even that last part, which is turning that lead into a prospect or a client. It sounds like, there's so many aspects to it. There's so many different pieces. Like you said at the beginning when you were struggling, how do I kind of put this all together? Let's start off with some basics. What's the difference between a sales funnel and a website, and why do I need one?
Yeah, great question. So I think that terminology has gotten switched around so often to where people think that what they might call a sales funnel might be a style of a landing page or a website, or even maybe like a specific software that they're using, like a ClickFunnels or High Level, if you've heard about those, or a Lead Pages, and it's a specific kind of website or tool that they're using. When we at our agency, Sean Garner Consulting, say sales funnel, what we mean is a complete relationship journey. So it's taking a prospect from not knowing who you are to becoming a super fan customer for life. And a website is part of a sales funnel. So for us, the different parts of a sales funnel is, number one is your branding. And so when we say branding, we're talking about the visual aspect, logos, colors, fonts. But the other thing, which is to me the most important, is the words that you're using. So what words do you use? I'm a certified story brand coach and guide. So we use the story brand framework to help you craft your brand messaging. So that way, just like with a graphic designer, you hire them to create your brand guidelines. And if you hire them to give them then like create social content, design a website, create some flyers, they're going to look at your brand guidelines and make sure it visually looks that. The brand script is the same exact thing for the words. When people are writing words, emails, social copy, website copy, they're looking at that brand script to making sure all the words that they are using in your marketing are clear and cohesive with the brand script. Then after that, the second part of your sales funnel is your website. The website should do two things. It should collect leads and make you money. If it's not doing those things, you got a broken website. It's not there to be like a really awesome, hey, come look at me, digital billboard. It should be collecting leads and making you money. So it needs to be wireframed and structured in such a way to do that. Whenever we're talking about in the future with SEO and everything like that too, we want to make sure that that website is as well structured in a way that not only just attracts the right people, but converts them as well. The third thing we need in our sales funnel, we need a lead generator. Not everybody that comes to your website is going to be ready to buy, schedule a call, book a service with you. So we need to have something that's an exchange of value that positions you as a guide, has a clear and catchy title, and gives them a quick win or the next steps in the process. This has to be on the website if you want to collect leads. If not, you don't have a way to collect leads. Then after you have that, just because you have that thing, that's not the secret. The secret is in the next part, which is in the follow-up. So then after they download that guide, we want to plug them into a series of 5 to 6 emails typically, or text messages that follows a certain progression to position yourself as the guide, shows the problem that you solve, and then ultimately has a really strong call to action sales sequence. Then after that, we have 2 more parts of our sales funnel. The next thing that we have to do is we have to make sure that all of our digital storefront is built out. So this is going to be like your Google business profile. If you're a local service business, your Yelp directory, all the different local citations that you're a part of, and all of your social media channels. Because even if you don't want to be on social and stuff all the time, you at least want to have those profiles built out with your logo as your profile image, your about us filled out with your contact information, your website, your business phone number. And then the last part of all of this sales funnel is we got to put this data somewhere. We need to have some type of a CRM tool, because we don't just want people emailing us and we have to manually send them out the guide, or if they're asking for an appointment, that their contact information just stays in their inbox. We want to make sure that we're collecting all of this information, storing in a CRM, so then that way we can follow up with these prospects. So when they are ready to buy, we've got them all in our system. And that is a sales funnel. It's the whole process. It's not just a landing page. It's not just a software. It's not even a website. A website's part of it, but it's the whole relationship building process.
That sounds like a lot of individual pieces. I mean, it makes sense. Like I'm hearing you talk about the customer journey, and I'm thinking of the hero's 2 journeys, right? You're the guide, and you're helping them get through. And I don't think people quite understand the hero's 2 journeys, or or like Russell Brunson kind of describes it, the epiphany bridge, and the, getting people across from they don't know who you are, to that attractive character, to getting them to be in your circle. But there's a lot of little pieces in there. The follow-up, so vital, because oftentimes you hire a marketing person who might generate leads, and then you go to call the leads back and you're like, oh, these are crappy leads. Well, the problem is you're calling them back the next day, or you're calling them back way too late. You don't have a follow-up process. And so, the leads are not good anymore because they already went with somebody else. Like all these little pieces that are vital to a successful funnel. Why do you think most businesses get stuff wrong? Where do they fall off? And how are you helping them stay on board?
Yeah, great question. To me, I've identified 2 reasons of why it's not working. Typically, if it is an established business, it's that they're doing the right things, but they're doing them in the wrong order. So typically what has happened is they are, we got our business, it's rocking and rolling. We are dumping money into paid ads. We're creating content. We're doing all of these things. But because they haven't done the foundational things and made sure that their funnel was built before they started filling it, they're just in essence filling up a bucket with holes in it. So when it comes to executing on these things, like you just said, there's a lot of parts to it. And I think that that's what a lot of business owners don't understand is they think, oh, I've got a website. I pay somebody to run ads for me. I'm good. But you don't realize you don't know what you don't know. It's nothing against them, but just most of them are ignorant to what it actually takes and what the real, industry dominators are doing, because a lot out of everything that I just mentioned, there's only 2 parts of it that are visible: the website and, how their branding looks. But for the most part, a lot of that behind the scenes stuff, the follow up, adding it to the CRM, your sales process, what that looks like, the SEO and stuff, when we start getting into filling the funnel, that's not seen. And so because it's not seen, if you don't know what to look for, it's really hard to be able to see if a business is doing those things or not. So the first thing is they're doing the right things, but the wrong order because they don't have the foundation set. The second thing that I see them do is they are executing to what they think is a high level, but they don't actually know what the high level industry dominators are actually doing. So for example, somebody might think, oh, I'm doing SEO for my business, or, oh, I have a website, but they don't understand how they look and how they show up online as compared to their competition. So they might check a box that they're doing SEO or I'm doing paid ads, but they have no idea that their competition is probably spending, 10 to 20 times what they are for those things. Because especially in today's world with easy to generate AI stuff, hiring workers like overseas for dirt cheap and stuff, you can check your box mentally that something or a marketing task has been done. But in order to be a true industry dominator, you need to execute at all of those things at a high level. So to me, man, the 2 biggest things that I see, they're doing the right things, but they're doing them in the wrong order because they don't have the foundation set. And then they're not executing at a high enough level or standard of volume.
Earlier, you said you got into business and you would often hire these quote unquote trusted experts to come in and help you with your marketing stuff. And there's a struggle there because you're hiring someone who you're expecting to do a job, but at the same time, your education level wasn't quite there yet. They could have told you, to change the headlight fluid, and you would have believed them because you don't know whether it has headlight fluid or not, right? You didn't understand what's going on with the terminology, the vocabulary, the lexicon of that whole marketing space. One of my mentors, Billy Jean is marketing. You probably know him because you're in the marketing space. I do office hour training for a lot of the coursework that he has in some of the courses. And so I get to deal with people who are entrepreneurs at trying to learn this marketing space and the vocabulary, knowing what people are saying, like you were saying, the difference between a website and a funnel. Some of those simple things in marketing can really confuse people if they don't know what it is, even if it's for their business, even if they're hiring out somebody. How do you feel about, an entrepreneur becoming at least somewhat educated in that marketing space before they hire an expert or work with an expert so they know whether or not this person is actually doing what they're supposed to be doing, or at least they can communicate in that industry?
Why do you think we're doing this podcast? That's literally why I do these things, is because one is obviously it helps to build the trust and credibility and everything, but I love teaching this stuff. So 100%, one of the things I love about my clients, or my clients say they love about me and I love doing, is I love teaching this stuff. So I want to make sure my clients do understand. And I think that if you are working with an agency, they should be that teacher at heart, because you don't want, the worst thing that you could probably do is hire somebody that does exactly what you tell them to do, because guess what? You're not a marketing expert, most likely. If so, you're probably not needing to hire a marketing agency to do the work for you. So you do need, and you should be educating yourself. But more importantly, I think that if you are hiring an agency, they should be able to teach you and to explain things at such a simple level that you get it and it makes sense to you. Because if they're talking all this terminology, because that's honestly one of the big marketing agency red flags that I had, and why I started diving down this rabbit hole, is they started using like this techno jargon, especially when they're starting to explain like SEO terms and stuff like that. And after a while, I kind of started picking up that they were kind of just talking in circles once I started learning the terminology. And that is like get me fired up, is seeing so many marketing agencies take advantage of, because I am a small business owner. My wife and I, we still own several small businesses that are local, and seeing these marketing agencies take advantage of businesses that are like that because they don't know the terminology. So a lot of them, where I see it the most prevalent is in the SEO space, which is our agency, we specialize in local service business SEO. SEO is one of those things that is very much like fitness. There's a lot of aspects to it, to where you can say that you are working out because you go to the mall and walk every day. And then at the same time, you can say you're working out because you're training 7 days a week for an Ironman race. Yeah. Both of them are working out, but it's done at completely different levels. So the outcome is going to be the same. SEO is kind of the same thing, because SEO has several different parts to it. So what is happening is a lot of times small business owners are paying for SEO services that might be like one-time done technical SEO type things, or reporting and keyword tracking and stuff, but it's not actually doing the things that move the needle forward in SEO. So they're not doing things like link building, content generation, working with the UX, like all the things that it takes to grow in the rankings. But if business owners don't know that stuff, they're just paying thinking they're getting SEO, but they're not getting the SEO services that are going to move the needle. So 100%, you don't need to be an expert, and you don't want to be an expert, because if you spent as much time and effort as my team and I do learning all this stuff, then your business better be owning a marketing agency, because you need to be totally really good at what you do. Because I truly believe that there's certain people that you are called to serve. And if you're not getting your message out there, you're not going to attract them. But you need to know what you're doing. You need to know what to look for. But that's the point of growing and scaling, is you don't want to try and build all this stuff out yourself. You don't want to have a website that looks like it was built by you. It needs to look like it's professionals, because your customers are judging you by this. So know what you're doing, be educated, always be learning as an entrepreneur, but please don't do it all yourself unless you really do want to own a marketing agency.
Now, earlier you said, you're doing things to move the needle in the SEO space. And I think a lot of times what local businesses or small businesses tend to think, especially when they don't know much about the marketing space, is I'm going to pay somebody to do my SEO and it'll be on tomorrow. And it's not, it doesn't, working on SEO is not a change that happens overnight. It's something that you have to build over time. And something I've also noticed with business owners as they come on as marketing clients is oftentimes they don't have any content. They might have a couple pictures here and there, maybe they have a video or two, but they don't have much content. How powerful is creating content for SEO? I mean, I know obviously, when we talk about putting the right keywords in your website and descriptions and all that is important, but how valuable is it to have content clips and links on those things? And the reason why I'm asking is because, I didn't know anything about SEO, but I'll tell you what I did do is I created a podcast. I do a lot of podcast clips. I put out a lot of content, and that in itself started to bring that attention naturally back over time. If a small business is trying to get their SEO up, what's the time frame they can expect, and what kind of content or creation are they going to need to do to really have a successful SEO, result into their business?
Yeah, great question. And hold on, because I love this stuff. So I'm gonna tell you everything that you need to know as a small business owner when it comes to SEO. First off, I want everybody to have an understanding of what it is. So it used to be, SEO for, search engine optimization. Now at our agency, and there's a lot of people in the industry that are saying this, now it's search everywhere optimization, because now with people, they're not just looking on Google anymore. Now it's even like a lot of social media platforms, are indexing content and everything. LLMs like ChatGPT, Perplexity, those are starting to showcase where people are searching and everything. So it's understanding what you're trying to do is when a potential customer looks for the products and services that you provide, that your business and brand shows up. SEO is not about tricking Google or these AI tools. It's about doing two things. It's about proving that you are the best choice, and that you're providing really clear results. That's what it is. You have to prove it, and you have to be clear at what you do. That is SEO in a nutshell, what it is. You can't trick Google into making you show up higher than your competitor if they've been in business a lot longer, their website's been on the website longer, they've got a ton more content on their website validating about what they do, they've got lots of other websites talking about them. You can't just flip a magic switch. They're not paying me to like flip the master switch. I'm like, haha, now you can rank number one. It doesn't work that way. So it's about getting these algorithms to understand clearly what it is that you do and then proving why you deserve to be where you are. So knowing that is the theme and what we're trying to do is show up on search, you need to understand what holistic SEO is. So there's 5 key pillars to SEO. There's multiple different things that you have to do if you want to show up higher wherever people are looking for. So the first thing is you have to understand technicals, and that's your technical SEO. So this is going to be some of the dorky behind the scenes. If you've ever built a website or a landing page yourself, you see something like little boxes that's called like a site title tags, meta descriptions. That's some back end stuff that with the technical SEO, your customers won't typically see that stuff or know what it is, but that's how Google knows that your website is technically sound. Think about building a house. That's making sure that it's got a really solid foundation to build on. When you're driving by, you can't see the foundation unless it's starting to lean after a while. The same thing with your website, right? So you have the technical SEO set up as far as like your link structure, your site title tags, meta descriptions, and just technically sound how Google or these search engines want your website to look. The second thing that we look at with building our holistic SEO strategy is your user experience. So one of the ranking factors, especially for Google, is if somebody types in Dallas plumber and they land on your website, do they stay on the website or do they immediately bounce off? Because remember, these search engines, they make money by ads. Why people want to run ads is because more people are looking on their software. Why more people are looking at software is because when somebody types in a result, they're really good at showing the right thing. So Google, one of their ranking factors, if they showed your website for Dallas plumber and somebody bounced off, well, that user experience wasn't good enough to make that person convert. There's lots of other factors in it, but just know that one of the things that Google looks at is how long people are spending time on your website once they go there. Are they taking any other actions? And what are they doing once Google did or these search engines show them that result? So we make sure that our UX is set up. Number 3 is when we get into the SEO part that people most think of, and it is what you asked about, content. So it's not just about how many social media posts do I need to do. Google has an algorithm, it's called EAT, and it's all about your expertise on a topic, your unique viewpoint, your authority. Are you trustworthy? That's what Google's looking for. So when we're creating content, it is not fluff, AI slop generated content. Google wants to be able to see, is your business authoritative in this topic? Do you have a unique viewpoint on it? Are you an expert? Are you authoritative? They want to see that based upon the content you're creating. So again, if you are a plumber in Dallas, this isn't just about having the homepage on your website, but how well do you cover the topic of all things plumbing, from repairs, services, locations that you provide. We want to make sure that our website is structured in such a way so that we are covering the topical, that with the topical map in such a way that we are checking all those boxes with Google. The other thing that it wants to see with content is how often we are adding content to it. This is where it's really easy for a lot of legacy businesses that have stopped doing SEO for new guys to come up and take them out, is because if you built all of this website initially and you stopped adding content to it, well, in the eyes of Google, you stopped learning. And so we want to make sure that we're adding content to our website on a regular, consistent basis to help showcasing that authority to grow. Fourth thing with SEO is our authority. So this is where we get into links and backlinks. A backlink is nothing more than a digital referral. It's another website that Google already likes and trusts, pointing back to yours saying, hey, you can trust this because we trust them enough to link our website to them. We can do this a lot with like digital press releases, getting our website listed on different citations and stuff like that, different listing directories, guest posting, blogging. Guess what? That's one of the reasons why we do video podcasting, is because we want to get that backlink and everything to grow our authority, because anybody could do those things that I just said. Make a website that's technically sound, make sure it's set up for conversions, and add content to it. But the authority piece is, again, one of those things that can't be seen visually by customers. But that is a major ranking factor for Google, is knowing who to trust, and how it knows who to trust is based upon other websites that are linking to it. Then the fifth part of this holistic SEO strategy is your local SEO. That is your GBP, your Google Business Profile, making sure that it is optimized with the proper services, categories. It's linking to the right page from the profile. It's completely filled out, and you're always adding content to that on a regular basis as well, because Google wants to see you using all of its products, and you're taking that local listing, you're adding it to like Bing Places, Yelp, and all the other local citations. So then that completes your holistic SEO strategy and plan. So if you're checking the box saying you're doing SEO, most agencies, whenever they're doing that for customers, have done the technical SEO, and then they're doing monthly reporting. But those things that really truly move the needle is keeping up with your GBP with that local SEO, adding backlinks with authority, and then adding content on a weekly basis to your website. And then you obviously want to keep up with all of those other things.
All right, Sean, how about the difference between a personal brand versus like a business brand? We were kind of talking about it a little bit before the show started. If you go back and kind of change some stuff, or you're advising somebody who's getting started, do I create a personal brand or do I go for a business brand?
I think that there's not a right answer blanket wise. It's going to be what's right for you. So certain businesses, certain industries, you got to think about the longevity about what it is that you want to do. So I named my marketing agency. I always, like, my stupid dad joke is, I'm a marketing guy, but my agency is Sean Garner Consulting, not super creative in the marketing front. I did that initially because when I started it, it was around the personal brand, because I had done all the stuff in the online fitness space. I had somewhat of a social media following and a presence. So I wanted my name out there. Now, as the agency has grown and we've got, full-time staff team members and stuff, it's all about me still, but I'm trying to now shift it eventually to where it won't be around Sean Garner Consulting. Yes, I'm the personal brand name, but I don't want people to come to the agency just because of me. I want it to be because of all the results and the value that we've gotten for the clients. So when you're doing this, whether knowing to make it be a personal brand or a business brand, there's two sides of the coin. One, it's a lot easier for people to connect with and to build a personal brand over a business brand, because people connect with people, they don't connect with logos. Flip side is, it's very, very difficult to sell those types of businesses. So you have to think about what your end result is for the thing. If you want to build a business brand, just know up front, there's going to be a lot more work involved, because you have to now get people who maybe know you to now associate you with this new brand, and then build the thing up. But once the thing is built, you've built something that's bigger than yourself. So I don't think that there's a right or wrong answer. It's based upon you and kind of what your end goal outcome is for the business that you're building.
I learned that lesson in real estate investing. You need to know your exit strategy before you get into the purchase, because that's how you're going to end up exiting. Kind of same thing when you're building your company. Know what your exit strategy is. Do you have to execute it? Not necessarily, but you build your agency according to your exit strategy. And then when you're ready to exit, you know how to do that. Now, before we head out, I want to ask you, and we'll go a little bit longer, but hopefully, not past your bedtime too much, but video is vitally important in building that trust. Like you said, especially when you have that personal brand, the audience needs to connect with you. It's how you're going to end up converting leads. But we're also living in an era where you don't necessarily have to be the one behind the camera to have your image behind the camera anymore. How important is video in converting leads? And for those of us who might be scared to go behind the camera, how easy is it nowadays for me to create video without me even having to be there?
Yeah. Okay, so there's two parts of it. So number one, I will say this. I think that what you are doing right now is the best, wisest return of investment on your time for content creation. Because if we think about this episode's going to be about 30 minutes. There's a lot that has happened in 30 minutes that you can't make faceless, and why I specifically, not only do I do this, but I'm on content just like this all the time. In the age of AI, where you can make like what you were asking about earlier with faceless YouTube channels and faceless content, you can have AI avatars create content and stuff like that. People are already missing people interaction. And so I think the more real and more human that you can be in your content, the better you are going to attract the type of people that you are called to serve. Yes, you can easily have AI create content for you, but it's not going to be you. People, like I said earlier, connect with people, not with logos and brands. You're definitely going to struggle getting people to connect with an AI avatar. So when you're doing it, like we said, think about the end result. What are we trying to do? Are we trying to use an AI avatar and make these faceless channels just so we can check a box and say, I'm creating content? Or are you truly trying to build a brand? If you truly want to be who we love working with, are the industry leaders, the people that want to grow their business and truly dominate their industry, they're not using AI avatars. They are the ones that are on there doing the content. So just because you can, absolutely you can, but you are not going to reach the industry dominating status that it takes. And so this is why I love what you're doing right now. We're taking 30 minutes to make a video podcast. 30 minutes of our time. This is what we've got. One, we've got a live video that's being multicasted out to multiple different platforms right now. Guess what's really hard to do on live video? Make up what you're talking about and have an avatar do it. So if you truly want to be seen as an expert, if you've listened to it, you might not like me. You might think I'm goofy. You don't like the receding hairline, whatever the thing is that you don't like about me. You can't argue that I know what I'm talking about. And because I come across very passionate and it's live, I'm not reading a script, the teleprompter, ChatGPT is not telling me what to say. Like, you know this stuff. So live video shows that you know your stuff. The other thing that it can do, if maybe it's not live, but long form video, yes, you can still script that stuff out. And you probably should, or at least have yourself an outline and stuff to go through, especially if you're not super comfortable about talking on camera and everything. But it's still pretty easy to see that. Then we can take this and now we can cut this long form up and we can cut it up into shorts. So we're going to have a 30-minute live video that gets simulcasted. Now we're taking the long form. It's going to become a long form clip on YouTube, probably going to get shared long form on Facebook, LinkedIn. It's going to be a long form on Spotify podcasts and the different audio platforms. Then we take all the shorts from this. And now we've got shorts for TikTok, Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels, YouTube Shorts. Then we can take this transcript and we can cut that up and we can create a show notes page for our podcast page, because we talked about creating content on your website. So now we've got the episode that's embedded on YouTube with our show notes page. Then we can take the transcript from this podcast as well, and we can have context to feed ChatGPT to help us create blog posts over the topic. If you just go to ChatGPT and say, write me a blog post over a holistic SEO strategy, it might come up with something, but if you took this transcript and did it, it's going to come out with something that is unique to me or to this show. And so we can have unique generated content, because if you're just pulling things out of ChatGPT from its comment index without adding context, it's going to fall flat. That's the AI content that doesn't work. So we can do that. Then we can also pull this transcript and we can have it write emails for us for helpful tips, valuable tips, emails. So they're not just sales emails. Now you have a better reason to email your list than just, hey, come buy my stuff. You can pull the content from this or the concepts we discussed and have it write helpful tip emails, text message, social post for your email list. And we were able to do all of that with 30 minutes of our time. Imagine how long that would take, even if you used AI and ChatGPT and faceless channels and stuff like that to create that volume of content that is unique, that is a high level. We can do that with something just like this in 30 minutes. And guess what? It's going to feel uncomfortable and awkward. But if you truly want to dominate your industry and be the go-to industry expert, man, go out there, punch fear in the face. That's what Sean Garner, one of my remote mentors I always look at too from Think Media. But punch fear in the face, press record, and go out there and do it. Because I truly believe that if you're an entrepreneur, you are called. Entrepreneurship is a calling. And there are specific people that only you are called to serve and that you are able to help. So what a shame if we don't go out there and serve the people that we're called to serve just because we are afraid to press record on a camera.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, look, if you're in business and you know you needed to do some marketing and you listen to this episode and you're reaching the end right here and you're like, man, that sounds like a lot of stuff. I wish I had somebody who could help me with that. Sean, if they're thinking that, how can they get a hold of you?
Yeah, best way is go to our website, SeanGarner.co. He's got it streaming right here. It's SeanGarner.co, and book a call with me. On that call, what we're going to do is I'm personally going to do a deep dive of your marketing. I'm going to review everything. We're getting on a call. I'm going to show you all the blind spots that we found, show you how we can implement strategies just like this for your business, and see if it's a good fit for us to work together.
Boom. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So basically, after 30 minutes, you have zero excuses, right? At this point, you know what needs to be done. You can go back, listen to this over and over again. You can see all the different steps, all the different pieces of your marketing puzzle. You can go and deep dive and learn it all yourself and do it all yourself. It's just going to take you a lot of time, a lot of effort, and you're not necessarily going to get it right the first time. Like marketing, it takes practice. It takes a little bit of testing here and there to figure it out, or you can do the cheat code. You can find somebody who's already done it successfully over and over again and hire them to do it for you. And the way you're going to do that is go to SeanGarner.co, SeanGarner.co. Listen to the episode over again. I promise you, jewel, gem, gold, right after each other popping up so you understand what it takes to market your company and either go do it yourself or find a professional to help you. SeanGarner.co, SeanGarner.co. Sean, any final thoughts before we head out?
And thank you so much for the opportunity. The one thing, and you were hitting on it, and it's kind of honestly one of the favorite quotes that I always share with our clients, especially when they're new: knowledge without execution is meaningless. So you can sit here, you can listen to amazing shows just like this to where you're getting tons of information and knowledge. But if you don't take action on these things and start executing it, guess what? You're going to be in the exact same place next year this time, but you're just going to have better ideas that were never executed on.
I love one of my mentors. He says, when he asks somebody, how long have you been in business? They'll say, I've been in business for 5 years. And then he replies back with have you been in business for 5 years, or have you just been stuck repeating the same year of business over and over 5 times?
I love that.
Ponder that, ladies and gentlemen. If you're stuck repeating the same business year over and over again, you're looking for growth, you probably need a team like Sean's to come help you do that. Sean, thank you very much for being on the program today. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace. And we're out.
It's over. Go home. Is your business in need of marketing? Try starting a podcast, but not just any podcast. Podcast like a pro. We can show you how to take your business from being invisible to becoming a brand people trust. Go to www.businessbros.biz to get started today.